My name is Yixin, and I'm the fourth year student studying History of Art and Book and Media Studies at University of Toronto.
What's your role at the art committee?
I'm currently the chair of Hart House Student Art Committee. Being as the chair of Hart House Art Committee is definitely more than what other people expected. So my responsibility is to supervise the subcommittees that's under the Hart House Student Art Committees. So instead of hosting monthly meetings before the semester started, I also need to work during the summer break, which means I needed to draft all the financial draft for our New Year's budget. I'm working with a wonderful team at this year during this difficult times. Also give them my opinions and advice as well. But overall, I'm just the one that trying to help them, but also supervise them at the same time.
Describe the art committee's structure.
Hart House Student Art Committee is a committee of contemporary art enthusiasts whose main efforts include curating the walls and walls of Hart House. They're also organizing studio visit with Toronto galleries and acquiring new work for the Hart House collection and art museum at the University of Toronto. There are acquisition subcommittee, arboretum student subcommittee, education and outreach subcommittee, and student project subcommittee. Also with the secretary and treasurer in our subcommittees. And each subcommittee has their own responsibilities to lead the whole student art committee.
What led you to the art industry?
Before I actually entered the university, I worked as an artist assistant back in China. It's for a Hong Kong company, the exhibition. So that's actually the first time I entered the art world. I learned how to assist in an exhibition, how the whole process of the exhibition programming that work. So after I relocated to Canada, I was also seeking for opportunities. I know there are ROM, Gardner Museum, and AGO. So actually, before I joined the Hart House Art Committee, I worked as a volunteer at ROM for more than a year. And after I did a little bit of research about Hart House, and I found there is a art committee that's related to art. And there are also a few really interesting subcommittees under it. So out of curiosity, I applied for a few positions. Unfortunately, I didn't get in at the first time, but I also applied again the next year after this. So before I work as the chair of Hart House Art Committee, I also work as the co-chair of acquisition subcommittees. So I had the chance to really dive into the Toronto's local gallery environment. I had the chance to know all those local artists, and we also had studio visit at RBC collection.
Can you please tell about your transition from high school to university?
So I went to an international high school back in China. As you can tell, my first language is not English. My first language is Mandarin, but I also speak a little bit Japanese because I'm really interested in Japanese culture. But I've studied ACT and all the language tests like TOEFL and IELTS in my high school. I didn't really had an opportunity to learn about art or other components of the high school education that might be different from Canadian high school.
Is there anything important you realized during your transition to university?
I think what I've been keep doing right is I realize how important to get out of my comfort zone. So I fly to China all alone by myself, and I didn't know anybody here when I first got here, but the experience was really interesting. I learned how to do all the bills and how to open a bank account by myself. But I think the transition that I have is I try to initiate the opportunities by myself. So I try to put myself out there to know more new people. I joined the Facebook student group, and I add people on it and meet up with them.
What extracurriculars did you do in high school?
For extracurricular in high school, surprisingly, I am not really involved in any official student groups or sports group because I'm not competitive in sports either. But so I'm just a really normal high school kid back in high school, I realized. But I think what I've been doing right is because I really like photography and writing. So back in high school, I'm a freelance photographer. I don't know if I can call myself freelance photographer, but I actually earn money from it. Before everything really started, I actually just took photos for free for my friends. And after I realized how they really loved the photos I took for them, I started to promoting myself on all the social media and to add those hashtags as photography so I can find my clients. And gradually there are some people come to me and pay me to take their personal portraits or whatever photography like photo shoot they want, and I just took all those photography for them. And that's one of the extracurriculum I think that really helps me. And another one is, since I keep writing things down and recording the things that happen around me, I'm also a blogger. So I'm also writing things down to the public. But first of all, I just writing them down to just keep a record of my own life. But after I found people are really interested in reading them and commenting them and supporting me, I just realized how important to share those beautiful things or thoughts to the public. So I think even though you're not really involved in school in any part of groups or any part of student groups or sports or team, I think you can also develop any other skills or any other hobbies by yourself. I'm not encourage anybody like you must have an extracurriculum to be in this group or to be in this team if you're not really interested in them. I think finding your own passion and your own interest and keep doing this and just be persistent into it is really important.
What difficulties did you face in your last year of high school?
I personally didn't have a lot of stress that come from study because I think I did pretty well on the exams and all the language tests. But instead, because I was the transfer student to the high school, I actually had a really bad time dealing with my peer, because they already know each other, and I was just the outsider to their group. So I didn't have any friends back then, and I didn't do anything by myself. But I was really stressed and felt a little bit awkward back then. But after I started to learn how to focus on myself more instead of others' opinion, how they look at me. So I learned how to focusing and pay more attention on myself. That's why I started to do my photography. I started to write everything down. Gladly, that experience did not leave any bad experience or bad impression on me. And I'm still really healthy right now. And I still love to putting myself out there to know new friends. And I think the transition I had from high school to university is, after I relocated to Canada, it was actually a big release, and it's kind of the start of new chapter to me. So I was really excited that I came to Canada.
What was your first year at university like?
I think the transition for me is actually really well. It encouraged me to know more people. But I still remember there was a really stressful time in university. It's when I got fraud. So I got fraud for $2,000. I couldn't afford my rental fees. So I need to start working 2 part-time jobs and study for 6 courses. And I was also in a sorority at that time. So I was extremely stressed and I wanted to quit school every single day. But luckily, during that time, I went to New York to meet with my one of childhood friend. We had a few talks about what I've been through at that time and what I really want. So at that time, I realized I didn't really focus on myself. I didn't focus on my mind. I didn't take care of myself. And when I went to New York, I realized how happy the life could be. I was literally laughing every day in New York in the new environment. I had the opportunity to reflect myself, to do some self-reflection, how my life has been going, what I need to keep and what I need to discard. So after I come back, I quit one job, I quit sorority. I also dropped 2 courses. So I was only taking 4 courses, so it's one job. And I tried to put myself to focusing more on myself and to really take a break for myself. And yeah, so I think focusing on yourself and know what you need is really important. I know, like, once you enter the university, you want to try all the things. You're like so lost in the university. There are a lot of groups, there are a lot of opportunities out there. You want to have them all. But what really important here is ask yourself what you want and what you want out of it. For example, if you want to join this group, what you can get from it, and what that group can bring to you, and what you can contribute it to other people. It's really important to try to figure that out, and to focusing to do less but focus more is really important. And also reaching out to the local companies or cultural institutions to seek for new opportunities is the thing that I feel like I did really great at first year, even though I did feel a little bit stressed out when I can't catch up with school, especially after I received my first grade from my midterm. I was really shocked how I got that grade, because I always got the A+ when I was in high school. But after I realized the grading scheme is just totally different from high school. Maybe you got the A+ in high school and you got a B+ in university. But after you realize how U of T has grading people's assignment, after you get used to it, and I think you just get used to it and be proud of yourself, because as long as you put the effort that you need and you try your best, and I think that's all you can do, and you don't need to blame yourself so hard. That's what I keep telling myself. At least I tried, at least I learned something from it, and that's what matters to me.
What should high schoolers be focusing on right now?
I think what high school students need to focus more on is it's really just about yourself. It's about exploration of yourself. I can elaborate on this. What do I mean by exploration of yourself? It's really just to try everything that you're interested in. If you think, oh, architecture is really interesting, try to look up all those videos online and how the architecture courses all look like, what are architects they're doing, and what kind of things that's involved in that field. Try to look up for it, or try to reach out to the people who is architect, and to talk to them about their industry and their experience working as an architect is really important. There are a lot of ways to figure out what you're interested in. It's either books, videos, Instagram, like all the social media, or even the connection that maybe your parents have or your school teachers have. It's really important. It's really about just yourself, as I mentioned, the really focus on yourself, like what you like to do, and what are something that you can get out of it, and what are some future education or career opportunities that's somehow related to it. Because as I said, that I really think every steps that you took in your life that could be linked together, that lead to your final decision or your final destination. So I think it's really important to really figure out, it's as early as better. It's early is better that you figure out what you wanted to do. Because once you had that small destination earlier, and once you arrive at that destination, maybe you will realize, oh, it's not my final destination. I don't like this place. I wanted to go to another one. So you have more time to go to more places. You have more time to really explore your life and your opportunities. So it's not really about finding an internship or finding a part-time jobs that's finding those really fancy internship during the high school, because what you can really get from those high school internship, because like, to be honest, you can't really get those professional internship during the high school, but maybe you can. If you really got those internship, just value it and learn as much as you can from out of it, and to keep those connections you've had at that workplace. But as some people may also work as a work in the restaurant or work in the, all those retail store, that's also good. I mean, I work as a waitress at the restaurant before. I also work as a sales assistant at the shopping mall before. But really think what you got out of it. Like, you can really get something from being a waitress at the restaurant. You know how to multitasking, and that's what I learned from that work. And I still keep in touch with the restaurant owner, and we had a really good relationship. We talk a few times sometimes. So I think focusing on yourself, value the opportunities for the work experience you had, where you are going to have, is really important. And don't underestimate any job opportunities you have or you're going to have. You can only know yourself more till you did all those things.
Did you have any doubts about the arts industry?
A lot of doubts about our industry. So as I mentioned, how I entered this art industry, but as I said, I've been keep exploring this industry. I volunteering. I work as an intern. I work as a curator internship before my current job I'm working on. So I think the reason why I choose the art industry is not how glamorous it looks, but it's really when I realized that there are a lot of amazing artists that need to be seen by the public. For example, I always say the first artist I work with is my mentor in the art world, because I saw all the effort she put into her artworks and put it into the art, and how she was so passionate about it. That's what really affected my career and education choices, because I want to help those artists to be seen, but also to help all the artworks to be seen. But after I really entered this industry, there are a lot of things going on. There are a lot of openings, a lot of talks, a lot of networking events going on. And I do have the moment that doubt the art world, like what art really is and what the art market look like. And the value of the art is, it's really overrated. And I've been keep thinking about this, especially if I've been looking at all the exhibition and doing all the research for a long time. I got really tired of it. I got really tired of the artwork. But I know, like, sometimes I do need to take a break from it to not really thinking about the artwork or everything that's really involving to it. I just try to not think about those, but back to think about what I really passionate about at the first place is I want more people to sing amazing artists. And I want to make their works valuable. And that's the thing that I'm passionate about at the first place. So people usually get lost after they trying to explore a lot. But I think to check your passion, just go back and check what's your passion and what's your purpose are really important. Yeah, I should use the word purpose. Like, what's the purpose of you doing this art industry? It's not because it's glamorous. It's not because it makes me look glamorous, as other people are saying, oh, your job are cool. But it's really you put yourself out there to help other people, to help other art professionals to give their opportunities to be seen and to be valued, and that's really values my job. And there are a lot of doubts on my education and also my experience, but I think, as I said, like, ignoring what other people are saying, thinking or saying, because they're not you and you're not them, and it's not really important. But if they are really useful and helpful advice, listen. And if there are really something that's from the art professionals that I think you should listen. I think it's always better to try it yourself before you deny it. And another doubt I had for the art industry is the gender bias. I did have experience that about sexual harassment in the gallery field in the art industry 2 years ago. That I had a coffee chat and I had an opening with that art professional, which we had a little bad experience, and that person didn't do anything to me, but the word and the way that person talked to me was just not professional at all. So if you're, I wouldn't say that, but if you have ever been had or fronted those sexual harassment experience, you really need to keep your boundary there and just, you need to stand up for yourself. And that's the thing that I wanted to mention in this project. I think it's really important. It's not only about girls, but also boys. And this is really important. Professional is professional and working is professional. Keep everything professional. It's really important.
What is it like to study art history and book and media studies?
Studying history of art and book and media study at University of Toronto is really amazing opportunity for me. It's not because they have a lot of really good resources, but they also give students opportunity to really have those hands-on experience. But definitely not this year because it's pandemic, everyone is at home. But before, I had all those opportunities to go to the studio and go to the gallery, to having classes and having all those hands-on experience, which is really interesting and which is really valuable and meaningful to my understanding, because I'm that kind of person who really need to learn from hands-on experience. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not a research person. I can't just staring at my laptop all day and do all the research and read all the papers. I really need those hands-on experience to help me better understanding what the prof is trying to emphasize on the lectures or on that the whole theme. So I think the program I'm taking has really given me the opportunity to learn better. And also, once I entered the third year, I realized everything is actually linked together. What I learned from the history of art might be mentioned by the prof of book and media studies, which are really, whenever that occurred, I just feel really amazing how the knowledge is, how all the arts and cultural knowledge are actually together. It's like you realize the development of human, everything is actually influenced by others. And those are the things that actually link together. And I found that's really fascinating. Working and studying in the arts field are really interesting. It's not useless. Of course, it's not useless. It helps you to think. It helps you to do the self-reflection on yourself, on the society, and how to develop. And what can make the whole society or your community better. It's also what I'm working on right now as a creator of programming, which is helping the public to understand the art more and to help the artists to showcase and to give them more opportunities. So I think the arts studies is really important to the human society and to everyone. So I think every jobs and every majors has their own meaning to be there. So if you're really interested in something and maybe other people are commenting that those are not some good and useful and majors or studies, don't listen to them. Just do what you think that interested you most, because there's something that's definitely meaningful in it.
What learning experiences have proven to be the most valuable at university?
One course that impressed me a lot is actually it's an independent studies that U of T has, or it's just a program that we have in our program. It's a course called Independent Studies. By taking this course, you'll be assigned to one of the supervisor of that program. And you can do independent research or with the supervisor they assigned to you or you reached out. So that year I worked with the Professor Polo, who is the program coordinator of Book and Media Studies. And he's an amazing professor who helped me with all my independent research. My research is focusing on the immigrant artists and their identity in the local art scene. So with the knowledge of book and media studies and marketing, I explore and I did the research of the local artists and their experience. That is the course that gives student opportunity to do the research on their own interests. I think that's something that's really valuable and helpful. So if you enter the university and you wish to do some independent research, or there is something that really interests you, but university doesn't offer you the course, try to reach out to the programs and to ask them if they have independent research opportunity or independent studies opportunities. And that course does give you credit as well. I think that's the course that people usually ignored, but it's also an important opportunity that got to be noticed by more people. So that's the course and opportunity that I really, really recommend.
What about other extracurriculars you're currently pursuing?
So aside from being the chair of Hart Student Art Committee, I also work as curator at Gallery 1265. And I'm also the founder of Alpha Arts, which is a art education platform that for art students. So what I've gained from all those experience I've had, I'm not mentioning all those small internship as a PR assistant at the gallery or art industries. By not mentioning those are the creator and the founder are the two things that I've been focusing on in the past year. And what I've gained from all those experience is the communication with people and communication, event planning, and leadership, and also personal purpose. Like those four things are really the thing I've learned and I've gained from all those experience. And I think they are definitely important for me to seeking for future jobs, because I'm not promising that I will be in the industry forever, for being in this art industry forever. But those are the soft skills I've learned from my experience that will definitely support me for my future other career opportunities. And those are the things that's valuable in all the industry, how you professionally and efficiently communicate to people, and how you lead the team, and how you talk with others, and how you put yourself out there and to do your work. And how is your personal purpose that motivates you to support you to do work efficiently is really, those are the things that can link together and really support yourself for the future career decision and career path.
What's the most interesting aspect of your job as a chair of the art committee?
You can lead a team who are really independent, who are amazing, but who are also trust your opinion and advice. And whenever they come to you and ask for support, that's the most incredible moment that I ever feel being at this position, because I want some people that can ask for me, seek for help. That really approves I've gained all those valuable experience from all those experiences I have, that give me the skills and give me the insights that I can help other people.
And what is the most difficult aspect?
I think the most difficult part of the job of being the chair is to track all the work progress that other subcommittees have. We need a more efficient way of tracking all the work progress. I did feel a little bit left out at that time when I didn't realize there is an event coming out, because I just feel like I wasn't being able to help them, or it's a really mixed feeling. Like they can work independently, that's amazing, but they don't need my support. That's also okay, but I do feel a little bit left out, but I also feel really happy and proud for them.
What can a university graduate do with a degree like yours?
Technically, people graduate from book and media study, they either work in the printing industry like magazines, or book industry and marketing or advertising industry. And for people who graduate from history of art, they, as a bachelor degree, they usually, most of them will pursue doing the master degree. A few of them will doing PhD degree. But for me, I'm not really good at school, to be honest. As I said, like I like to learn more from hands-on experience. So from all the experience I've had so far, that really explore my interest in event planning and marketing industry. So What I can answer this question is, as an art student or humanities or social science students who's not like engineering or other student that has a really specific goal of their career. Like for us as art students, what you can do in the future is really about what experience you have and what your personal soft skills you have. Maybe you're really good at writing, you can do something that's related to writing. Maybe you're really good at communication, do something that's related to communication or marketing or client manager that you can talk with a different person and to know what they need. And if you're really like event planning, do something that's related to programming in the industry. And so there are a lot of possibilities that goes with this degree, with this degree paper. Or so I don't think the degree paper that really determine your career. So that's just full of possibilities that can come out from it. So as for this question, I think what's most important is what experience you have when you are in this paper. So when you are trying to get this paper, what else you've been doing is really important as well.
What does your career plan look like?
My personal career planning, since I mentioned that I'm also the founder of Alpha Arts. So after I graduated, I think I will focus more on the platform I'm working on right now, because I do want more people to realize how important the arts program are. And those are the top thing that's on my list. And after, I do want to take a break from the art world. It does sounds a little bit weird because I just graduated. But since the time I graduated from high school, I've been keep exploring this art industry. I had not thousands, I had hundreds coffee chat with all the people from art professionals, from art industries. I do want to explore something else like marketing or PR agency. But PR agency is something that I want to explore after. So like I said, the marketing skills, the communication skills, and event planning and leadership, all the skills that I can definitely apply to the PR agency, because I'm also really active on everything. So I have a lot of things I wanted to do, but those are the two things that's on the top of my list.
One piece of advice for a high school student.
So especially in university, maybe the friends with you from the dorm or from the first year of university will no longer be friends with you in the third year of your university, which is totally normal, because there are a lot of students here in Toronto, in Canada, and you have a lot of way to gain new friends. If that friends is maybe not keep in touch with you anymore, or is just suddenly disappear in your life, it's totally okay, because you don't have all those energy to keep all the circle. The circle of your friends are always the certain numbers. People come, there are some people they will need to go. Just value the persons that's always stay in your circle is really important. Value the person that's besides you, that's stays in your circle, but don't overthinking about all the people who are already gone. So just remember, people come and go. Don't be so sad or don't be so stressed, but to really appreciate what you have.